Atlanta woke up to chaos this week when two of the city's biggest reality TV figures, Kirk Frost and Mendeecees, Harris allegedly went from being close friends to sworn enemies after what insiders are calling a brutal and humiliating fight that exploded during a private event. What started as laughter, drinks and music turned into shouting, glass breaking, and grown men being pulled apart while Rasheeda and Yandy screamed for someone to stop it. Eyewitnesses say the energy shifted in seconds. One moment, Kirk was joking about a business deal. The next, Mendeecees was standing chest to chest with him, fists clenched, face tight with anger. The room fell silent before chaos erupted, and within minutes, what was meant to be a night of celebration became one of Atlanta's most talked about meltdowns. People close to the couple say tension between the two families had been building for months. Even though they kept up the image of unity on camera, behind closed doors, money, loyalty, and pride were cracking the foundation. One insider described it as two men trying to prove who runs Atlanta's spotlight. But this fight didn't just leave a bruise, it tore through friendships, business partnerships, and even marriages. Because when Kirk and Mendeecees went at it, Rasheeda and Yandy got dragged straight into the fire. By morning, social media was already ablaze. Videos from the party leaked, shaky, muffled, but enough to show the chaos. You can see Mendeecees being held back, shouting, "You crossed the line, bro," while Kirk yells something back that no one can quite make out. And in the corner, Rasheeda looks stunned, her hand over her mouth, while Yandy's face twists with disbelief. Fans flooded the comments with shock and speculation. Some blamed Yandy for fueling the fire. Others accused Rasheeda of finally letting the real Kirk out. Whatever the truth, it's clear this wasn't a one-time argument. It was years of bottled tension exploding in public view. Sources claim things got so bad that by the end of the night, security had to separate the couples completely. Yandy left in tears. Mendeecees stormed out, and Rasheeda refused to speak to anyone. The once tight circle of love and hip-hop stars seemed shattered. The question everyone's asking now is simple. How did two brothers in fame let it come to this? What secret betrayal pushed them over the edge? And can the damage ever be undone? Nor has Atlanta's reality royalty finally gone to war with itself? Stay tuned, because this story isn't just about friendship lost, it's about loyalty tested, pride exposed, and the moment that may change the love and hip-hop universe forever. It all began with a night that was supposed to be nothing but good energy, champagne, and laughter. Atlanta's elite had gathered inside a private lounge downtown. The kind of dimly lit spot where every table costs more than a car payment and every corner hides someone whispering a secret. Kirk Frost had invited his close circle to celebrate what he called a new chapter in his business. And of course, Mendeecees and Yandy showed up smiling, matching, and acting like everything was fine. But the truth was, nothing was fine. Weeks of quiet tension had been building between Kirk and Mendeecees, starting from a simple misunderstanding that turned into a storm neither of them could control. It all began with money, but pride turned it into something darker. People close to them say Kirk had been helping Mendeecees with a project that went left. There were contracts, investors, and promises, but somewhere in the middle, communication broke down. Kirk believed Mendeecees didn't hold up his end, and Mendeecees believed Kirk had gone behind his back. Both men felt betrayed, but instead of talking it out, they smiled for the cameras and pretended to be cool. When the drinks started flowing that night, the truth began to leak through the cracks. It was just after midnight when someone brought up the project again, half joking, half teasing, and Kirk's laugh came out a little too sharp. "Man, I told him from the start some people ain't built for business," he said, not naming names, but making it clear who he meant. Mendeecees froze mid-sip, then set his glass down hard. "What's that supposed to mean?" he asked quietly. The music was still playing, but the energy shifted. People nearby tried to laugh it off, but Kirk didn't stop. "I'm just saying," he said, grinning like it was all love. "Some folks talk like bosses but move like employees." The room went silent for a second before Yandy muttered, "Nah, he didn't just say that." Mendeecees took a slow breath, trying to stay calm, but you could see the anger in his eyes. "Kirk, don't disrespect me like that. You know what we've been through." Kirk shrugged, still acting like it was a joke. "Ain't no disrespect, bro, just speaking facts." And that's when things started to spiral. Yandy stood up, whispering to Mendeecees to let it go, but the damage was done. Mendeecees stood too, stepping closer, his tone low but steady. "You forget who had your back when everybody turned on you. You forget who vouched for you when your own people didn't trust you. Now you want to play me in front of everybody." Kirk's smirk faded. "Bro, don't act like I owe you something. I built what I got before I even met you." The two men stood inches apart, voices rising, every word like gasoline on fire. Rasheeda rushed over, placing her hand on Kirk's arm, trying to calm him. "Baby, stop, this ain't worth it." But Kirk shook her off, his pride louder than reason. "Nah, 'cause he out here acting like I needed him. I don't need nobody." Yandy crossed her arms, her voice trembling with anger. "You might want to remind your man who he calling out, 'cause we ain't the ones who started this." The crowd began to murmur. Phones came out, and somewhere, in the noise, someone whispered, "They really about to fight." Mendeecees tried to walk away, muttering, "You ain't worth it," but Kirk followed, calling after him, "Yeah, walk away like always. You talk loyalty, but you switch up quick when it ain't about you." That was it. Mendeecees spun around and shoved him hard enough to send Kirk stumbling into a chair. Glasses hit the floor, people screamed, and chaos broke loose. Kirk came back swinging, shouting words that no one could fully catch. Security ran in, trying to pull them apart, but it was too late. They had already crossed a line that friendship can't always recover from. After the chaos settled, both men were taken to different rooms. Kirk's shirt was torn, his lip bleeding slightly. Mendeecees sat in the other room, shaking his head, furious and embarrassed. Yandy was pacing back and forth, trying to calm him down. "You can't let him drag you into this. He wants a scene," she said. Mendeecees muttered, "Nah, he wants respect he don't deserve." Meanwhile, Rasheeda sat beside Kirk, her voice low and tight. "You embarrassed yourself tonight? You embarrassed me." Kirk didn't respond. He just stared ahead, breathing heavy, still too angry to think clearly. Outside, the word had already started spreading. A few clips from the scene made it to social media within an hour, blurry but explosive enough to trend. Fans were divided. Some said Kirk was wrong for humiliating a friend in public. Others said Mendeecees overreacted. But what nobody knew yet was that this fight had deeper roots than one night of tension. Behind the scenes, both men had been battling for respect, control, and influence in Atlanta's reality world. Their friendship was built on loyalty, but fame had changed the rules. In the following days, the fallout began. Kirk and Rasheeda went quiet on social media, pretending nothing happened. Yandy, on the other hand, posted a cryptic story that fans caught immediately. "Loyalty don't live everywhere." The post blew up, and everyone knew who it was aimed at. Within hours, blogs picked up the story, spinning rumors about broken business deals and betrayal. One blogger claimed Mendeecees had accused Kirk of stealing an idea for a new TV pitch, while another said Rasheeda had privately told friends she was done with Yandy for making things worse. What nobody realized, though, was that while Kirk and Mendeecees were fighting over words, their wives were fighting over pride. Rasheeda felt Yandy had disrespected her husband, and Yandy believed Rasheeda had stood by while Kirk tore Mendeecees down. That tension began to leak into every conversation. Group chats went silent. Invites were suddenly lost. Atlanta's tight-knit circle of love and hip-hop stars began to fracture. A week later, Kirk showed up at a local studio, recording a track that some people say was full of subliminal shots. "Fake love, fake brothers. Everybody switch when the lights go low," he rapped, and fans caught the message instantly. Mendeecees responded with a post of his own old photo of the two men laughing together, captioned, "Never let ego ruin brotherhood." It seemed like a peace offering, but insiders say it was more about making Kirk look like the problem. Kirk saw the post, rolled his eyes, and said, "He playing victim now? Classic." By the second week, the fight wasn't just gossip, had become a storyline that everyone wanted a piece of. Producers were reaching out, hoping to capture the fallout for TV. Some claimed there were talks of a sit-down, a reconciliation scene, but Kirk refused. "Nah," he told one friend, "I'm done pretending for cameras." Mendeecees, meanwhile, was telling people he'd moved on. But those close to him said he hadn't stopped replaying that night in his head. He can't believe Kirk disrespected him in front of all those people. One friend said, "He keeps saying, 'Bro, I had his back when nobody else did.'" The fight might have ended physically, but emotionally, it was just getting started. Yandy and Rasheeda avoided each other at every event, refusing to be in the same room. When they did cross paths at a charity brunch weeks later, it was pure frost. Rasheeda nodded once, tight smile, no warmth. Yandy returned it with a raised brow, her eyes saying everything her mouth didn't. And just like that, Atlanta's most powerful friendship circle was officially divided. Still, behind closed doors, both women were struggling more than they admitted. Rasheeda hated the public whispers that her husband had lost control. "You know how it looks," she told Kirk one night. "We're supposed to be the stable ones." Kirk leaned back, sighing. "Everybody got a limit, Rasheeda. I'm tired of people testing mine. Across town, Yandy sat with Mendeecees telling him, we don't need that energy. Let them do them. Mendeecees nodded. But deep down, he couldn't shake the sting of betrayal. The man he once called a brother had turned into a rival, and the whole city was watching. And as Atlanta buzzed with rumors, one thing became clear: this wasn't just a fight. It was the beginning of something much bigger. Something that would drag families, friends, and reputations into the fire before anyone could put it out. In the days that followed, the air in Atlanta seemed heavier, thick with whispers and tension. Everyone in the scene knew something had shifted. It wasn't just a fight anymore, it was a Cold War. Kirk and Mendeecees had stopped communicating entirely, but their silence spoke louder than any post or interview could. Clubs, lounges, and red carpet events turned into battle zones, with people quietly choosing sides. Those close to Kirk called Mendeecees ungrateful. Those close to Mendeecees said Kirk had forgot where he came from. Every conversation seemed to carry that same undercurrent of rivalry. Even the fans could feel it, dissecting every photo, every caption, every song lyric for hidden meaning. Yandy tried to take the high road. She went online, posting videos about forgiveness and keeping your circle pure. But fans weren't buying it. The comments were filled with questions like, "You talking about Rasheeda?" and "Girl, we know what this is about." Rasheeda, on the other hand, stayed quiet for weeks until one night. She went live with her boutique team and casually dropped a line that made the internet explode. Someone in the chat asked about loyalty, and she said, "You just gotta know who's real when the cameras turn off." It was a short statement, but it was enough. The blogs twisted it instantly. Rasheeda throws shade at Yandy after Kirk fight. Within hours, the clip went viral, and Yandy's followers flooded her page demanding a response. But what fans didn't see was how deep the hurt ran behind the scenes. For years, Kirk and Mendeecees had built a bond based on surviving the same storm's public scandals, criticism, and rebuilding reputations. They used to joke that they were the last real ones in the game. So when that bond cracked, it left more than bruised egos, it left disappointment. "He was like a brother to me," Mendeecees told a close friend during a quiet night out. "I really thought we was solid." Kirk, meanwhile, told Rasheeda, "You can't trust nobody in this business. Everybody smiles till your competition." Around this time, another twist entered the picture. Word started spreading that Kirk was working on a new project, a men's empowerment event series that looked suspiciously similar to one Mendeecees had been planning months earlier. Insiders claimed Kirk took the concept, changed the name, and was now pitching it to the same sponsors. When the rumor reached Mendeecees, he was livid. "So that's what this was about," he said, pacing back and forth in his office. "He clowned me in public, just to steal my move." Yandy tried to calm him. "Baby, you don't know that's true. Don't feed into it." But it was too late. The idea of betrayal had already taken root. A few days later, both men ended up at the same charity gala by accident or fate. Nobody knows. The room tensed the second they saw each other. Kirk was standing with Rasheeda, posing for photos, when Mendeecees and Yandy walked in. The photographers turned their cameras instantly, hungry for the moment. Kirk looked away, pretending not to notice. But Mendeecees wasn't playing that game. He walked straight toward him, hands in his pockets, a half smile on his face. "So that's what we doing now? Stealing ideas," he said quietly enough for only Kirk to hear. Kirk didn't flinch. "You think you invented business? Bro, everybody hustling. Stop acting like you the only one with dreams." Mendeecees stepped closer. "Nah, I'm just the only one that don't snake people to get there." Rasheeda grabbed Kirk's arm, whispering, "Don't do this here." But Kirk's pride wouldn't let him walk away. "You really want to do this again?" he said under his breath. "'Cause I promise you, I ain't the one." Yandy, standing nearby, shook her head. "We not doing this in front of these cameras," she said sharply. But Mendeecees wasn't backing down. "Then tell your man to stop lying on my name." That line made Kirk snap. "Lying? Boy, please. If you handled your business right, I wouldn't have to clean up after you." The exchange lasted less than a minute, but everyone in that ballroom felt the heat. Photographers captured the tension, the glare, the clenched fists, the forced smiles. The next morning, the photos were everywhere. Headlines screamed, "Kirk and Mendeecees face off again, tension at Atlanta Gala." And beneath the headlines came the speculation. Some claimed Mendeecees was about to sue. Others said Kirk had already lost investors over the drama. Both men stayed silent publicly, but privately, the war was escalating. Soon, mutual friends started pulling away. Nobody wanted to be caught in the crossfire. Safari, who had been close to both, told someone, "Man, I ain't getting in that. That's family business." Erica Mena, however, couldn't resist posting a cryptic message. Funny how brothers become strangers over ego. People took that as a direct reference, and within minutes, her comment section turned into a battlefield. Then came the podcast leak. An unreleased audio clip from a behind-the-scenes recording surfaced online. Someone caught Kirk venting during a production break. In the clip, Kirk could be heard saying, "Dude's jealous. Point blank. I gave him a lane. Now he mad 'cause I outgrew him." The internet exploded. Mendeecees reposted the clip with the caption, "This what real ones sound like behind your back." Fans took sides instantly. Hashtag Team Kirk and hashtag Team Mendeecees began trending, with both men's supporters posting old clips and receipts trying to prove who was real and who was fake. Rasheeda tried to step in and do damage control, telling her followers that everything isn't what it seems, but it only made things worse. People began accusing her of defending toxic behavior, while others praised her for standing by her husband. Yandy, meanwhile, doubled down. She posted a video that fans still talk about her voice calm but sharp, saying, "The funny thing about loyalty is it don't need to be loud. Time always reveals who was solid." Her tone was sweet, but everyone knew it was aimed straight at Rasheeda and Kirk. That was when the friendship circle completely broke apart. Events that once brought them together now became separate gatherings. Kirk and Rasheeda stopped attending functions where the Harrises might appear, and vice versa. Mutual friends had to check the guest list before confirming invites. Atlanta's once glamorous social network had become a quiet war zone of passive-aggressive posts and whispered gossip. But behind all the public drama, there was another layer nobody saw. Kirk had been dealing with mounting pressure, business struggles, brand partnerships pulling back, and tension at home. Rasheeda felt torn between being his wife and being his voice of reason. "You gotta fix this," she told him one night. "People think you're the villain now." Kirk shook his head. "I don't care what they think. I care about being respected." Across town, Mendeecees sat at his studio desk, scrolling through comments calling him soft for letting Kirk disrespect him. "I ain't letting nobody play me again," he muttered. Yandy placed a hand on his shoulder. "Baby, you already won by not." Hand on his shoulder. "Baby, you already won by not." Stooping to his level, but even she could see the anger still burning in his eyes. The city kept talking. The fans kept guessing. And the producers of Love and Hip Hop were watching it all, smiling quietly. Because in the world of reality TV, chaos sells, and Atlanta had just found its biggest storyline yet. But neither Kirk nor Mendeecees realized that this feud was about to get darker, messier, and far more personal than anyone expected. By the third week, Atlanta felt like it was holding its breath. Every blog, gossip page, and fan account was refreshing for updates on Kirk and Mendeecees. It had gone beyond a feud. It was now a full-blown public spectacle. Both men were trying to move like they didn't care, but everything they did, every post, every location tag was watched and dissected. People said they'd seen Mendeecees out with old friends from New York again, like he was getting back to his roots. Kirk, meanwhile, was being spotted at high-end events solo, acting like nothing bothered him, but everyone could see through it. This was pride dressed in designer clothes. One night, Kirk sat in his car outside his studio, scrolling through his phone. A video popped up. Someone on YouTube had posted a timeline of the Kirk and Mendeecees fallout. It had millions of views already. Clips of them laughing together on Love and Hip Hop cut against footage of the fight, the charity gala, and screenshots of their posts. The comments were brutal. One fan wrote, "Kirk always been messy. He just met his match." Another said, "Mendeecees too emotional. Business ain't personal." Kirk exhaled sharply and threw the phone onto the seat beside him. "These people don't know nothing," he muttered. But deep down, the words stuck. Around the same time, Yandy got a call from a mutual friend asking her to do a joint interview with Rasheeda, something light, to show unity. Yandy said no instantly. "There's nothing to fix. We not fake," she said firmly. But later that night, she sat awake replaying the moment Kirk had shoved Mendeecees, the sound of glass breaking, and the way Rasheeda looked at her with pure fury. Maybe she wasn't mad at Rasheeda herself, it was the way the whole thing had turned into a circus. "People don't even care what's true anymore," she said quietly. Mendeecees didn't respond. He was scrolling through his phone, watching another round of gossip videos about them. Meanwhile, Rasheeda was doing her best to hold her family together. The fight had hurt Kirk's image, and business was slowing down. Sponsors were hesitant, worried about reputation risk. At dinner one night, she finally said what had been on her mind for weeks. "You let your ego mess up your name," she said calmly. Kirk didn't look up. "Nah, I let a snake show his fangs." Rasheeda sighed. "You sound just like him. Y'all both think you the victim." That hit harder than she expected. Kirk didn't respond for a long time, then finally said, You wasn't there when he called me out. You don't know how that felt. Rasheeda looked at him quietly and said, I was there. And you didn't have to swing. The next weekend, things took another turn. A leaked text thread began circulating online, allegedly showing messages between Kirk and one of Mendeecees' old business contacts. The messages hinted that Kirk had indeed taken over a project meant for Mendeecees, changing a few details but keeping the core idea. The screenshots weren't confirmed, but that didn't matter. The internet decided they were real. Comments flooded in accusing Kirk of backdoor moves. Within hours, Kirk posted a fiery statement denying everything. Y'all believe fake receipts now. Stop playing with my name. But the damage was already done. Mendeecees didn't respond publicly. Instead, he posted a single photo him sitting on a couch, staring straight into the camera, captioned, When you tell the truth, you don't gotta argue. It was calm, confident, and it hit harder than a rant ever could. Fans rallied behind him, praising his maturity and dragging Kirk for being defensive. Yandy saw the reactions and smiled slightly. See? You don't even have to say much, she told him. But Mendeecees wasn't smiling. Nah, he said, cause he's still out there acting like he untouchable. Then came the next blow. Rasheeda and Yandy were booked for the same women's empowerment panel in Atlanta. Both of them had agreed before the fallout, and now backing out would have looked weak. The organizers begged them to be professional, but everyone backstage could feel the tension. Yandy arrived first, dressed sharp, poised.com. Rasheeda came in later. All business, no small talk. When their names were announced, the crowd cheered, half there for inspiration, half just waiting for a moment. They sat 2 chairs apart, pretending everything was fine. The first few questions were harmless about entrepreneurship, motherhood, and balance. Then the host, trying to be clever, asked, How do you handle conflict when friends become competitors? The room froze. Cameras zoomed in. Yandy smiled politely. I think real women don't compete. They collaborate, she said, her tone sweet but edged. Rasheeda nodded slowly. True, unless the collaboration turns into manipulation. The crowd let out a soft gasp. Yandy looked at her, still smiling. I think that depends on who's doing the manipulating. For a second, it felt like time stopped. The audience watched, phones recording, waiting to see if it would go further. Rasheeda leaned forward slightly and said, Some people play victim real good, but we know the truth. The host quickly changed the topic, but it was too late. That 30-second exchange was clipped, edited, and uploaded everywhere before the event even ended. By that night, headlines read, Rasheeda and Yandy clash on stage, feud reignited. The internet was on fire again. Memes, tweets, and side-by-side reaction clips flooded social media. Kirk was furious when he saw it. They out here making us look like fools, he said, pacing the living room. Rasheeda, exhausted, replied, You started this mess. Now we living in it. Across town, Mendeecees just shook his head when he saw the clip. They can't help themselves, he said quietly. Yandy didn't even respond. She just scrolled past the videos and closed her phone. But behind the public chaos, both couples were unraveling privately. Kirk couldn't sleep, replaying that first night in his head. I didn't mean for it to go that far, he admitted one night, his voice low. Rasheeda looked at him and said, Then fix it. Mendeecees, on the other hand, was growing colder. He started skipping calls, avoiding certain circles. It's not hate, he told Yandy. It's just distance. She nodded, but deep down, she knew distance doesn't heal wounds like this, it just hides them. Weeks turned into months, and yet the tension refused to die. Every now and then, a rumor would pop up, someone claiming they saw Kirk and Mendeecees talking again, someone else saying a mutual friend was trying to set up a private meeting, but nothing ever came of it. Both men were too stubborn, too proud, too hurt to take the first step. Atlanta moved on to new scandals, but this one stayed under the surface, like an old wound that refused to close. Still, deep inside both of them, a small voice kept whispering the same thing: it didn't have to end this way. And as the whispers grew louder, it was no longer just gossip, it was confirmation. People who had once cheered for Yandy and Mendeecees as the power couple of love and hip-hop now spoke about them with pity, disbelief, and curiosity. Cameras caught Mendeecees moving out of their shared home quietly one morning, his bags packed, his face blank. No press, no statement, no goodbye posts, just silence. the kind that speaks louder than any public explanation. Insiders close to Yandy revealed that she had been crying for days but refused to let the world see her breaking point. Instead, she posted motivational quotes and focused on her brand appearances, pretending everything was fine. But her eyes in those interviews told a different story: tired, swollen, distant. They said love had turned into something that no longer fed her spirit, only drained it. Meanwhile, Mendeecees was seen in Atlanta at several nightlife events, keeping a low profile but surrounded by new faces. Some familiar, others mysterious. One in particular, a young woman in a red dress who kept appearing at every spot he visited. Fans connected the dots faster than anyone could imagine, and soon the internet was on fire with one question: who is she? Was this woman the reason the marriage? Who is she? Was this woman the reason the marriage finally collapsed? According to one source who claimed to be at a private lounge with them, Mendeecees didn't even try to hide his comfort with her. They laughed, they whispered. They shared moments that looked far too intimate for someone just going through a separation. And when asked by a fan about Yandy, he simply shrugged and said, "Life moves on." That phrase spread across blogs, TikTok, and shade pages like wildfire. Life moves on, the most casual way to end a decade-long love story that had survived prison time, public scandals, and countless rumors. For Yandy, it was a slap in the face. She had built her image as a loyal wife who held it all together when Mendeecees was behind bars, defending his name and keeping the family strong. And now, that loyalty was being erased with one careless sentence. In private, friends said she felt betrayed not just by the end of the marriage, but by the way he walked away from it so easily, as if none of it mattered. In an emotional conversation overheard during a recent event, she told a close friend, "I didn't expect perfect, but I expected respect." Those words echoed across social media when the clip surfaced, confirming what many had suspected all along. This wasn't a mutual decision, this was heartbreak. But the story didn't end there. A leaked court document began circulating online showing that the divorce had been finalized quietly weeks ago, with irreconcilable differences listed as the reason. Still, fans wondered, what were those differences? Was it trust? Infidelity? Fame? Insiders suggested that money was also at the center of their split. Mendeecees reportedly felt that Yandy had become too focused on her businesses and appearances, leaving less time for family. Yandy, on the other hand, believed she had carried the weight of the household for years, emotionally and financially, and was tired of being unappreciated. The tension between ambition and affection had finally cracked the foundation. Yet in the midst of all this chaos, there were quiet moments of reflection. Mendeecees was spotted sitting alone in a park one evening, head down, scrolling through old photos on his phone. People who saw him said he looked lost, not like a man celebrating freedom, but one realizing what freedom really costs. And Yandy, always composed in public, broke down during a late-night Instagram live session that was meant to be about self-love. Her voice trembled as she said, "Sometimes, the person you love the most becomes the lesson you never forget." She didn't mention his name, but she didn't need to. Everyone knew. What followed was a storm of opinions, some blaming Mendeecees for walking away from a woman who stood by him, others accusing Yandy of changing too much once the cameras made her a brand. The truth, as always, sat somewhere in between. Both had grown, but not in the same direction. And that's the tragedy of it all. Two people who fought the world together couldn't survive each other. Yet as dramatic as it sounds, the story was far from over. Because just when the dust began to settle, Mendeecees made a move no one saw coming. Something that would not only reignite the drama but redefine how fans saw both of them forever. He posted a video, number warning, no caption, just a dimly lit clip uploaded to his Instagram story late one night. In it, Mendeecees sat in his car, quiet at first, then said, "Everybody think they know the story, but they don't know half of it." His tone was calm but sharp, the kind that comes from someone holding back anger. He continued, "I kept quiet out of respect. I didn't want to embarrass nobody, but since people want to play the victim, let's talk." Those few words exploded across the internet within minutes. Blogs reposted the clip before he deleted it, and speculation ran wild. What did he mean by play the victim? Was he talking about Yandy? Fans who had always rooted for their love story now found themselves choosing sides. Some believed Mendeecees was finally breaking his silence, tired of being painted as the bad guy. Others accused him of gaslighting a woman who had sacrificed everything for him. The timing couldn't have been more chaotic. Just hours earlier, Yandy had appeared at a charity gala in New York, radiant in a white gown, but noticeably alone. Reporters tried to ask her about the video, but she simply smiled and said, "I'm focusing on peace." That word peace became her new mantra. She posted it in captions, said it in interviews, even wore it on a t-shirt line she launched soon after. But behind the polished exterior, there was tension. Close friends claimed she was furious, not only because Mendeecees had spoken publicly, but because he was hinting at secrets that could tarnish her image. And then came the bombshell. A podcast host released an exclusive interview with someone claiming to be a former friend of Mendeecees who had seen everything. In the interview, the friend said, he didn't want to leave. He was pushed away. She made him feel small, like he was just part of her storyline. It was a bold accusation, one that changed the tone of the conversation entirely. Suddenly, the narrative flipped. Was Yandy really the strong, suffering wife? Or had fame slowly turned her into someone else? Mendeecees shared a cryptic post that seemed to back up the claim. Sometimes success make people forget who held them down when they had nothing. Yandy responded with subtle shade of her own, uploading a photo of herself and her kids, with the caption, "Nothing fake about this love." Fans dissected every emoji, every lyric, every song she played on her Instagram stories. It was digital warfare, a breakup fought through captions, unfollows, and passive-aggressive quotes. But then, an even darker twist emerged. Leaked messages began circulating online, showing alleged conversations between Mendeecees and another woman. The screenshots were blurry, unverified, but the internet didn't care. The messages hinted at late-night meets and emotional confessions. "You're the only one who gets me," one read, allegedly from Mendeecees. That was enough to fuel the fire. Yandy's supporters flooded her comments with words of encouragement and rage. "You deserve better," they wrote. "He never valued you." Still, Yandy stayed silent, choosing not to address the rumors directly. That silence, however, spoke volumes. Insiders revealed that she had already known about the woman for months but had been hoping to repair things privately. The divorce papers, they said, were her final act of Meanwhile, Mendeecees' camp denied everything, calling the screenshots fake and part of a publicity setup. Yet something about his behavior, his sudden trips, his defensive tone, his avoidance of questions made it hard for fans to believe him. And in the middle of it all were their children, caught in the storm of two public figures trying to protect their own names. One emotional scene reportedly took place during a family handover day, where Yandy and Mendeecees exchanged the kids in silence, neither looking at the other. Witnesses said it was one of the most uncomfortable moments they'd ever seen. Two people who once couldn't keep their hands off each other now standing like strangers. Still, even after all this, the story had more layers to unfold. Because behind the scenes, someone else had been quietly collecting receipts, messages, recordings, and photos that could turn this already heartbreaking divorce into one of the most explosive love and hip-hop scandals ever exposed. And when those receipts finally surfaced, they would destroy the last illusion of who was innocent and who wasn't. The next morning, Atlanta woke up buzzing again. A new leak hit the internet, this time from a private group chat involving Kirk Mendeecees, and a few other familiar faces from the circle. The messages were raw, full of profanity, and painted a picture of betrayal that went beyond friendship. It cut into business, money, and pride. One message, allegedly from Kirk, read, "You used my name to get that deal, and didn't even tell me. That's not brotherhood." Another, supposedly from Mendeecees, fired back, "You wasn't complaining when I was putting you on." That one line blew everything open. The leak confirmed what fans had suspected for weeks. Their friendship had soured over business. Both men had been working on a joint venture and exclusive event series called Southern Empire Nights, but somewhere along the way, greed crept in. The money got good, egos got bigger, and the trust that once held them together cracked wide open. People close to Kirk said he felt disrespected, like Mendeecees had made moves behind his back. One source said, "Kirk's old school. He believes in loyalty first. Once you cross that, you're dead to him." But Mendeecees saw it differently. From his side, Kirk was trying to control too much, acting like he owned the idea. He wanted credit for everything, another insider revealed. Mendeecees felt like he was being treated like a sidekick, not a partner. That frustration eventually bled into personal life. Yandy started noticing how often Kirk's name came up during their arguments. Rasheeda noticed it too. She once told a friend, "I can feel something's off with the boys. Every time we go out, they're side-eyeing each other like enemies." But even she didn't expect things to blow up the way they did that night. The fight, as one guest described it, was the loudest silence before chaos. It began with a toast gone wrong. Kirk had just raised his glass to thank everyone for coming when Mendeecees interrupted him mid-sentence. accusing him of fronting for the cameras. It spiraled fast. Kirk shot back. "You lucky I even put you in this circle." Mendeecees moved closer, his voice low but sharp. "You think this city yours? Nah. I earned my respect without you." Someone tried to pull them apart, but the damage was done. Yandy jumped between them, shouting at Mendeecees to walk away, while Rasheeda yelled at Kirk to calm down. Drinks spilled, someone knocked over a chair, and within seconds, the room turned into a shouting match. The video clips that leaked only captured fragments, but the words were enough. "Fake friend. Snake, you ungrateful, and keep my wife's name out your mouth." After the fight, everything collapsed like dominoes. Kirk and Rasheeda unfollowed Yandy and Mendeecees. Posts were deleted, joint ventures quietly dissolved, and their crews picked sides. It wasn't just two men fighting, it was two households going to war. In the streets of Atlanta, everyone had an opinion. Barbershops, clubs, podcasts, everywhere you turned, people were debating who was wrong. Fans who once celebrated their unity now felt betrayed. "They always acted so tight." One fan tweeted, "Guess it was all for the show." But the most shocking part was yet to come. A week later, Rasheeda broke her silence. She went live on Instagram, her voice shaking slightly as thousands tuned in. "I'm not here to bash nobody," she began, "but I'm done protecting people who don't value loyalty." It was clear she wasn't just talking about Kirk's business partner, she was also speaking to the women who'd stayed silent while chaos unfolded. She hinted at conversations, late-night phone calls, and emotional manipulation that had been going on behind the scenes. "Sometimes the men get all the attention," she said, "but it's the women who clean up the mess." Fans flooded the comments, tagging Yandy, begging her to join the live. Yandy didn't, but she posted a quote hours later that read, "You can't rebuild with people who burned your foundation." It was indirect, but powerful. From that moment, it became clear that the fallout wasn't just business, it was deeply personal. Kirk and Mendeecees had lost more than a friendship. They'd fractured a circle that had once symbolized Atlanta unity. Yet even as things unraveled publicly, a few insiders whispered that there was more to the story, that someone else had set the fire. A mysterious third party, maybe a business rival or even a member of their own team, who leaked those group chat messages to push the men apart. And if that rumor was true, then Atlanta's most explosive feud might not have started from pride at all, it might have been pure manipulation, carefully planned and brutally executed. But the truth behind who started it all would only come to light when a voice recording surfaced that left the entire city speechless. The recording surfaced late one Sunday night, dropped anonymously to a gossip blog known for stirring up Atlanta drama. The file was short, barely 3 minutes, but it was enough to flip everything upside down. In it, a male voice recognized instantly as Kirk's could be heard talking to someone off camera. The tone was low, tired, but sharp enough to cut through static. "He played me. Man. I told him to chill with that deal, but he went behind my back. Now he wanna act like I'm the bad guy?" Then came another voice, muffled, responding, "You sure you wanna go public with this? Yandy gonna take it personal?" Kirk replied, "Let her. I'm done pretending. I'm tired of smiling for people who'd sell me out for a check." Those words spread like wildfire. Fans reposted the clip across Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Within hours, hashtags like #KirkVs, Mendeecees and #AtlantaMess trended nationwide. Even people outside the love and hip-hop world were tuning in, fascinated by how ugly things had become. But what nobody expected was what happened next. Mendeecees fired back with a video of his own. He sat in a studio, calm, but visibly angry, saying, "So y'all heard a clip? Cool. But what about the part they didn't play? What about the part where Kirk admits he took money off the top? See, people love half-truths. But I got the receipts." And he did, within minutes. Screenshots appeared on his story, showing a contract draft with Kirk's signature and a different payout split than what was originally agreed. It looked bad, really bad. Fans who had been defending Kirk suddenly started questioning him. The comments were brutal. "So Kirk really did snake him." One wrote, "Loyalty don't mean nothing in that circle." Others thought it was deeper than business. "Nah, this personal." Someone tweeted, "This about pride and control. You can see it." Yandy stayed quiet, but people close to her said she was furious. Not because of the fight itself, but because Mendeecees had gone public again. She'd begged him to let things calm down. "You think you winning, but you making us both look bad," she told him, according to a friend. Meanwhile, Rasheeda tried to play peacekeeper, texting Yandy directly, "We can't fix them, but we can control us." Still, even that attempt at peace didn't last. Someone leaked screenshots of that message too, twisting Rasheeda's words to make it look like she was mocking Yandy behind her back. And that's when the women's fallout began. Yandy posted a story with a caption that said, "Some people smile in your face but throw shade in your texts." Minutes later, Rasheeda unfollowed her. Fans noticed immediately. "Oh, it's over for real." One comment read, "The blogs ate it up. Every outfit, every caption, every like became part of the drama." Yandy went to a brunch with Carly Red, and headlines popped up saying Yandy replaces Rasheeda with new bestie. Rasheeda was photographed at a club with Erica Dixon, and people called it the revenge link. What was once two couples showing black love and friendship on TV had turned into a full-blown Cold War with everyone choosing sides. Even Love and hip-hop producers smelled opportunity. A leaked production memo revealed plans to center the next season around the Atlanta divide. They knew ratings would skyrocket if they brought the drama on screen. The cast hated it, but the cameras rolled anyway. Insiders said filming those scenes was pure tension. Kirk refused to be in the same room as Mendeecees. Mendeecees wouldn't do confessionals if Kirk's name was mentioned. Yandy and Rasheeda showed up separately, their glam teams giving each other death stares across the set. One day, during a group shoot, things got so heated that Kirk walked off set, slamming his mic pack on the table, shouting, "Y'all ain't gonna play me for ratings." The production tried damage control, editing the storyline to make it seem like reconciliation was possible. But behind the scenes, the divide deepened. Friends who once shared family dinners now avoided each other at events. Rumors spread that Kirk had banned Mendeecees from his club, Frost Lounge, after Mendeecees showed up one night, uninvited. One witness said, security told him he couldn't come in. Mendeecees laughed like he didn't care, but you could tell it stung. He left without a word, his expression tight, and within hours posted a message that said, "When the door closes, remember who changed the locks." Fans took that as another dig at Kirk. Then came the twist no one expected. A mysterious email was sent to several blogs, containing what appeared to be legal documents showing an audit of Southern Empire Nights. According to the papers, a large sum of money had gone missing months before the fight. The shocking part, both Kirk and Mendeecees' names were on the transfer list. Neither side looked innocent anymore. The internet went crazy, speculating who took it. "So both of them dirty," one user commented. "This like watching Power, but real life." The authenticity of the documents couldn't be confirmed, but that didn't stop fans from drawing conclusions. Suddenly, the narrative shifted again. It wasn't just betrayal between friends. It was a full-blown scandal that could end both their reputations. And while Atlanta's gossip circles feasted on the chaos, something darker brewed beneath the surface. Because one of the people involved in those transactions wasn't a stranger at all. It was someone from inside their own families. Someone who had access to everything. And when the truth about that person came out, it wouldn't just expose a betrayal, it would destroy every ounce of trust left in their world. The name dropped like a bomb in the middle of Atlanta's buzzing gossip scene. It was Kirk's cousin, Tone Frost. The same Tone who'd been part of every deal, every event, and every night out, always in the background but never on camera. People in the circle called him the quiet one, the kind who never spoke much but always listened. And now, he was at the center of everything. The leaked report showed that the missing money had gone through his account. Insiders said he was the middleman for both Kirk and Mendeecees during the early stages of Southern Empire Nights, managing budgets, coordinating vendors, and collecting deposits. But when things started falling apart, Tone vanished. No calls, no replies, no trace. That disappearance suddenly made sense. He was the ghost who walked off with both their money and their trust. As soon as the name hit the blogs, Mendeecees posted 3 words: "Check your circle." Everyone knew who it was aimed at. Kirk fired back hours later with a cryptic caption of his own. "Snakes don't hiss no more, they smile." The online war reignited. Fans split again, some saying Mendeecees planted Tone to make Kirk look bad. Others arguing Kirk used Tone as a fall guy to cover his own mistakes. But the real twist came when Tone himself resurfaced. Out of nowhere, he went live on Instagram from an unknown location, wearing sunglasses and speaking in riddles. "Y'all keep saying I ran off," he said, laughing quietly, "but I got proof. I got receipts. Both of them was in on it. They mad 'cause I won't take the fall." His live lasted only 7 minutes before it was deleted, but not before over 12,000 people recorded it. Within an hour, clips were everywhere. That 7-minute confession flipped the narrative again. If Tone was telling the truth, then Kirk and Mendeecees weren't enemies by accident, they were partners in a secret that went bad. Bloggers replayed every clip of their arguments, searching for signs of guilt. Even the infamous party fight suddenly looked different. Maybe they weren't arguing about respect or loyalty, maybe it was panic. Maybe one of them knew the other would talk. The theory spread fast. One headline read, "Betrayal or cover-up. Kirk and Mendeecees caught in a $1 million mess." Fans couldn't get enough. Everyone wanted to know who was lying. Yandy and Rasheeda were dragged right back into the chaos. Reporters hounded them at every event, asking if they knew about the missing money. Yandy stayed calm, but her voice tightened when she said, "I'm not speaking on anything that's not mine." Rasheeda, though, couldn't hold back. She told one interviewer, "People forget cameras ain't on all the time. A lot goes down off set. I just hope everybody comes clean." That one comment made things worse. Mendeecees thought it was shade, and he texted Kirk directly, something he hadn't done in months. "Tell your wife, keep my name out her mouth." Kirk replied, "Tell your wife to stop acting like she innocent." And that was it. The fragile silence between them shattered all over again. The next day, at a private event for another reality star's birthday, the two men crossed paths. Cameras weren't rolling, but plenty of phones were. Witnesses say the tension was instant. Kirk walked in first, cool and confident, while Mendeecees was already at the bar, surrounded by his team. When their eyes met, the crowd went quiet. No shouting this time, just an eerie calm before something dangerous. Kirk raised his glass slightly, smirked, and said, "You still running your mouth, huh?" Mendeecees smiled without humor. Funny coming from the one who got caught. That was all it took. They stepped closer, face to face, voices low but full of threat. One person tried to step between them, but Kirk shoved past, and Mendeecees pushed back. Chairs scraped, a bottle tipped, and once again, Atlanta's nightlife turned into a spectacle. Security broke it up fast, but not before a few punches were thrown. Mendeecees left with a split lip, Kirk with a torn shirt. And this time, there was no hiding it. Multiple videos surfaced within hours, showing every second of the altercation. One clip even caught Kirk shouting, "You know what you did? Don't play dumb." That line alone sent the internet into another spiral of theories. What did he mean? What did Mendeecees do? The comments were ruthless. They moving like enemies, not brothers. That money must be deeper than they saying. This got cartel vibes. Producers tried to step in, urging both men to release statements before things got out of control. Kirk's team released one first, claiming the fight was an unfortunate misunderstanding fueled by false rumors. Mendeecees' team dropped their own minutes later, calling Kirk's statement a weak attempt to control the narrative. The feud had officially gone public in full force, and everyone wanted a piece of it. Talk shows invited analysts, gossip pages compared timelines, and even rappers started weighing in. But behind all the noise, there was something quieter and more dangerous happening. Yandy started receiving anonymous texts late at night. The messages contained screenshots, account transfers, and voice notes between Kirk, Tone, and someone she didn't recognize. One of the texts simply read, "You think you know your husband." It was followed by a voice recording of Mendeecees talking about a backup plan with Tone, dated months before the fallout. Yandy sat frozen, her phone trembling in her hand. If the recording was real, it meant Mendeecees hadn't just lied to Kirk, he had lied to her too. And for the first time since the drama began, she realized the betrayal wasn't just between friends. It was inside her own home. That night, Yandy didn't sleep. She sat on the edge of her bed, lights dim, scrolling through every message, every leaked file that had surfaced over the last few weeks. It all connected now: the mood swings, the sudden trips, the strange late-night calls he used to take in the kitchen. She remembered one moment clearly: Mendeecees whispering into his phone, stepping outside when he thought she was asleep. She told herself it was business, but deep down she knew something wasn't right. Now it all made sense. Her husband hadn't just been fighting Kirk over money, he'd been hiding something much bigger. In the morning, she confronted him. No yelling, no accusations, just quiet questions that cut deep. "Was Tone working for you? Did you know he moved that money?" Mendeecees froze, realizing she had seen more than he expected. "Where you get that from?" he asked, his tone defensive. Yandy held up her phone. "It doesn't matter. Just tell me the truth." He sighed, ran his hand over his face, and finally said, "Yeah, I knew about some of it, but not like that." Tone was supposed to fix the mess, not make it worse. Yandy's eyes filled with tears. "Fix it or cover it up?" she asked. He didn't answer. Silence filled the room like smoke. The next day, Yandy packed a small bag and took the kids to her mother's house. She didn't post, didn't speak, didn't respond to calls. The fans noticed her disappearance immediately. Hashtags like #WhereIsYandy started trending. Within 48 hours, rumors flooded in, some claiming she'd filed for divorce, Others saying she'd gone to meet producers to break her contract. Kirk, meanwhile, doubled down publicly. He released another video saying, "I don't gotta lie. Everything I said, I can back it up. People out here pretending they victims when they just scared of the truth." The clip hit millions of views, and for the first time, Mendeecees didn't reply. His silence only made things worse. Rasheeda tried reaching out to Yandy but got no response. She even showed up at her mother's house once, hoping to talk, but Yandy refused to come to the door. A neighbor later told a blogger, "You could hear her crying inside. It wasn't anger, it was heartbreak." Meanwhile, Kirk and Rasheeda's home wasn't peaceful either. Kirk was restless, pacing at night, mumbling about loyalty and revenge. Rasheeda warned him, "You're letting this eat you alive." He shot back, "I can't just sit here while he plays the victim. I'm gonna end this." And he meant it. Kirk arranged a private meeting with Tone Frost, offering him money to set the record straight. Tone showed up, but instead of agreeing, he secretly recorded the conversation. In the clip, Kirk's voice could be heard saying, "If you just tell people it was all him, I'll make sure you get taken care of." Tone laughed. "Nah, big bro, you trying to buy silence now. You know both y'all dirty." That recording leaked within a day, confirming to the world that Kirk wasn't innocent either. The internet lost its mind. "Both of them liars," one fan commented. "This ain't friendship, it's a crime scene." Mendeecees finally spoke up after weeks of quiet. He went live, his eyes red, his voice steady but raw. "I ain't perfect," he began, "but I ain't no thief either. People can twist words, edit clips, do whatever they want, but the truth don't stay buried forever." He paused, then added, "And for everybody asking about my marriage, me and Yandy gon' figure that out off camera. Not for y'all entertainment." It was the first time he publicly acknowledged the strain between them, but instead of calming things down, it made everything worse. Bloggers called it a half-confession. Others said he was trying to look noble after getting caught. Kirk, never one to stay quiet, posted right after, "Don't talk about truth if you've been lying since day one." He attached a black and white photo of himself sitting on his car, looking off into the distance. Dramatic, calculated, and perfect bait. The feud was now a soap opera, played out in real time, with millions of viewers feeding on every update. Behind the scenes, Love and hip-hop producers scrambled to secure rights to the footage, offering massive bonuses if both couples agreed to film a reunion special. Rasheeda refused. Yandy didn't respond. Mendeecees and Kirk, however, both agreed, each for their own reasons. Kirk wanted to clear his name. Mendeecees wanted revenge. When filming began, the tension was thick enough to choke on. Cameras rolled as the two men entered the studio from opposite sides, neither willing to make eye contact. The producers didn't even have to script the scene. The air was already electric. Kirk leaned back in his chair, smirking slightly. "So we doing this for the cameras now?" Mendeecees stared at him coldly. "We been doing this for the cameras, bro. Difference is, now the mask off." Kirk chuckled bitterly. "Mask? Nah, this the real me. The one that don't play fake for followers." The argument grew louder, more personal. Mendeecees accused Kirk of using Tone to cover his tracks. Kirk accused Mendeecees of dragging Yandy through dirt to save himself. The crew tried to cut the scene, but the men ignored them. Mendeecees slammed his hand on the table. "You think you better than me, huh? You think 'cause you older, you can talk down." Kirk stood up slowly, staring him down. "Nah, I just think real men take accountability." The room went dead silent. Then Mendeecees said the one thing no one expected: real men don't cheat their wives and call it business. Gasps filled the room. Rasheeda froze, eyes wide, realizing what he meant. Kirk turned pale, caught off guard, and for the first time that night, he didn't have a comeback. The producers stopped filming immediately. The footage cut, but the damage was already done. Word spread before they even left the building. Kirk's alleged affair with a young promoter, something he'd hidden from Rasheeda for months, was now public. What started as a business feud had turned into a full-blown explosion of personal secrets. By dawn, Atlanta wasn't talking about money anymore. It was talking about betrayal, love, and pride, 3 words that had destroyed friendships, marriages, and reputations, all in one brutal season. The next morning Atlanta was buzzing again, but this time it wasn't the usual gossip, it was a storm. Kirk Frost and Mendeecees Harris weren't just trending, they were the talk of every salon, every barbershop, every radio segment. Fans couldn't believe how deep the feud had cut. What started as a friendly argument had turned into a rift that could shatter decades of friendship. Kirk was seen driving around solo, no Rasheeda, no friends. Just silence while Mendeecees was spotted at a downtown lounge, laughing with a new circle of people like he was done with the old crew. Sources claimed that after the brawl, Kirk had tried calling Mendeecees but his calls went unanswered. Yandy had blocked Kirk and Rasheeda both from social media. While fans noticed Rasheeda posting cryptic quotes like "loyalty should never be questioned until it's lost," insiders close to the couple said Rasheeda was devastated. She had believed their friendship with Yandy and Mendeecees was unbreakable, but the tension had changed. Everything Yandy, meanwhile, was seen filming a segment for a podcast, where she subtly threw shade. Without naming names, she said some folks pretend to be real until the cameras stop rolling, then they show who they really are, and that one line had the internet dissecting her every word. Rasheeda's supporters clapped back, calling Yandy manipulative and two-faced. The feud had officially spilled online. Kirk's old crew members started distancing themselves, not wanting to pick sides, but Atlanta's entertainment circle is small, and people talk. One rumor that quickly gained traction was that the fight wasn't just about ego but about business. Apparently Kirk and Mendeecees had discussed launching a joint project months ago, a music-themed restaurant and lounge, but something went wrong. Kirk allegedly pulled out of the deal at the last minute, claiming Mendeecees hadn't secured investors, while Mendeecees told his team Kirk tried to take more control than agreed. This betrayal may have planted the seed of all that followed. Fans started connecting dots, saying the club incident was never just random, it was years of tension finally snapping. When money and pride collided, the Frost family tried to move forward. Rasheeda focused on her boutique, her music line, her kids, but you could tell the sparkle in her tone was gone. Yandy, on the other hand, threw herself into work, promoting a charity event and using her platform to talk about strength after betrayal. During a late-night Instagram live session, she looked directly into the camera and said sometimes you have to lose fake friends to find real peace, and even though she didn't name Kirk or Rasheeda, everyone watching knew exactly who she meant. Comments flooded with fire emojis and messages like "we know who you talking about, Queen." But the twist came a week later when a leaked voicemail surfaced online, allegedly featuring Kirk talking about Yandy in harsh terms. He called her fake and manipulative, and accused her of using Mendeecees for clout. That audio spread like wildfire. Though Kirk's team claimed it was edited, fans weren't buying it. The damage was done. Yandy went live again, tears in her eyes, saying it hurt to see people she once called family disrespect her behind closed doors. Mendeecees stepped in, visibly angry, saying he wasn't letting anyone play with his wife's name ever again, and that's when things spiraled even further. At a local industry mixer that weekend, Kirk showed up uninvited to confront Mendeecees face-to-face. The tension was thick. The music stopped, people backed away, and the two men locked eyes across the room. Witnesses said Kirk tried to extend a hand to end the beef, but Mendeecees wasn't having it. He told Kirk that apologies mean nothing when loyalty's already gone. Kirk fired back, saying he'd been loyal until Mendeecees made everything about himself. Voices rose. The argument turned physical again until security dragged them apart. This time, no punches, just shouting, but it was enough to confirm the friendship was beyond repair. Rasheeda pulled Kirk away, shouting that it wasn't worth it, while Yandy screamed at the bouncers to keep him back. The video of that night went viral within hours, showing Kirk's angry face and Mendeecees shouting, "You dead to me." Atlanta had never seen anything like it, fans said. The energy was darker than any reality show scene. Because it wasn't staged, it was real, raw emotions spilling out in front of flashing cameras. Later that night, Rasheeda posted a simple black screen on Instagram with one word, "done." Yandy reposted a quote, saying some chapters end with tears, others end with peace, but everyone knew there was no peace left between these two couples. By the end of that week, both families had unfollowed each other completely, even deleting old posts. Together, the double dates, the family dinners, the laughter, all wiped away like none of it ever happened. Fans were heartbroken. They had looked up to Kirk and Mendeecees as examples of how black men could support each other despite fame, but now that brotherhood was gone. Shattered in front of the world, Atlanta's streets whispered that maybe someone else was fueling the fire. Maybe a third party had fed both sides false stories to tear them apart, and if that was true, this feud was only getting started. Days later, the storm hadn't calmed, it had only grown louder. Atlanta nightlife was divided straight down the middle. Half the city was siding with Kirk and Rasheeda, saying Mendeecees and Yandy had changed ever since they started chasing Hollywood connections, while the other half claimed Kirk and Rasheeda couldn't stand seeing anyone else shine. Bloggers picked sides, gossip pages flooded with unseen clips and voice notes, people digging through old interviews to find hints of jealousy and resentment. One clip from 2 years ago suddenly went viral again. It showed Kirk joking about Mendeecees' management skills, saying he good at talking, not at closing deals. Back then, everyone laughed. Now it sounded like a warning. Fans began saying this feud had been brewing for years, and Atlanta just never noticed until it exploded that Friday night. Kirk was spotted at a downtown cigar lounge with Scrappy and Stevie J, both known for their love of drama. Witnesses said Kirk looked tense but calm, like a man plotting his next move. He told the guys he wasn't about to be painted as the villain when all he ever did was show love to fake people. He said Mendeecees had let his wife control every move, and he wasn't going to fight a married couple. Overlies the moment. Kirk said that Scrappy shook his head, saying, "Nah bro, this too deep, it's bigger than y'all." But Kirk wasn't listening. He was hurt in his mind. Loyalty once broken couldn't be repaired. Meanwhile, Yandy and Mendeecees were out at a charity gala the same night, smiling for cameras, but their eyes said everything. They were tired. Mendeecees told a close friend that Kirk's betrayal felt worse than any reality show fight because it came from someone he trusted. He said he had taken Kirk into his home, fed him during tough times, and now that same man was throwing shade like an enemy. That quote spread fast by morning headlines. Screamed. Mendeecees exposes Kirk's fake loyalty. The Frost camp stayed silent, but Rasheeda's best friend Kendra spoke up in a podcast, saying not everything the internet believes is real, and that Yandy should look in the mirror before calling anyone fake. That single sentence reignited everything. Yandy fired back in her Instagram story, saying some folks should learn to control their friends before talking about mirrors. Her tone was calm, but her words were sharp. Rasheeda took it personally, and within hours posted a picture of her and Kirk, captioned, "The real ones don't need validation." That post hit 1 million views in hours, with fans flooding comments saying shots fired. What no one knew was that behind the scenes, the network producers were already calling, trying to convince to film a reunion special to clear the air. Producers smelled ratings gold, but neither side was ready. Kirk refused to sit across from Mendeecees, saying he didn't trust himself not to lose it again. Mendeecees, on the other hand, said he was done giving fake people camera time. Fans begged for them to make peace, but their hearts were heavy, and pride ran deeper than forgiveness. One Sunday afternoon, Rasheeda finally broke her silence in a live interview. She looked composed, but her voice shook as she said, "Sometimes friendships end because God removes people you can't see are holding you back." She said she still loved the memories, but she couldn't let disrespect slide anymore. Yandy watched the clip and posted a response minutes later, saying forgiveness doesn't mean reconnection, and that hit hard. People started speculating that there were deeper secrets behind the fallout. Some insiders whispered that Kirk had once invested money with Mendeecees for a business that never took off. Others said there was a hidden betrayal involving a mutual friend and private conversations that got leaked. One source close to Yandy claimed Kirk had tried to flirt with one of Yandy's friends during a party years ago, and when Mendeecees found out, he lost trust but had stayed quiet to protect everyone's image. Whatever the truth was, the fans were obsessed. Hashtags like #TeamIYandy and #TeamRasheeda flooded Twitter. Fights broke out in comment sections. Fans made edit videos comparing old moments of laughter to the current chaos. The energy was wild, but even in the middle of that mess, there was one unexpected twist. Rasheeda received a text from Yandy late one night. It said, "I never wanted it to go this far. I just wanted the truth out." Rasheeda read it over and over, not knowing what truth Yandy meant. She showed it to Kirk, who immediately deleted it, saying, "Don't fall for that manipulation." But deep down, Rasheeda felt a pull, a sense that something was still hidden, maybe a misunderstanding, maybe a secret only Yandy knew. Within days, rumors started that a mutual friend named Keisha, who once worked with both couples, had been stirring things up between them. She had apparently told Yandy that Kirk was badmouthing Mendeecees, and told Kirk that Yandy had called him greedy. If that was true, Keisha had played both sides for clout and attention, and when that story leaked, fans went insane, saying Keisha might be the real villain of the story. Atlanta blogs exploded with titles like "Was Keisha the puppet master behind the Kirk Mendeecees feud?" and "The secret friend who broke Atlanta's power circle." Keisha herself denied everything, saying she was being used as a scapegoat, but no one believed her. Still, the damage was done. Kirk and Mendeecees' friendship was hanging by a thread, and Atlanta could sense it. Something bigger was about to happen, something that would drag everyone back into the fire once again. And now Atlanta stands divided, torn between loyalty and betrayal, between truth and pride. The story of Kirk Frost and Mendeecees Harris isn't just another headline, it's a warning that even the strongest bonds can shatter when ego gets involved. What started as brotherhood turned into bitterness. What began with laughter ended in silence, and the city that once celebrated their friendship now watch as it crumble piece by piece. Fans are left wondering, will they ever make peace, or has the damage gone too far? Could forgiveness still find its way through the cracks, or are these two men destined to stay enemies forever? Yandy and Rasheeda once symbolized sisterhood built on strength and ambition, but now their smiles hide scars. Too deep to heal for years, they showed the world that family and friendship could survive fame, but tonight, Atlanta feels colder, quieter, like the heartbeat of their circle has faded. Fans can't stop replaying those moments. The nights of laughter on rooftops, the heartfelt toasts, the family dinners that once felt real, now just memories frozen in old photos. No one dares to delete, and yet deep down people hope this isn't the end. Maybe time can cool tempers. Maybe pride can bend. Maybe one day Kirk and Mendeecees will look back and remember that they once called each other brother. But until that day, the streets will keep talking, every whisper, every rumor, every quote twisted into something bigger than the truth, and fans will keep watching, because this isn't just a feud, it's a saga, a mirror of how fast love turns to hate and how easily loyalty turns to betrayal. Atlanta has seen drama before, but nothing like this. No reality show, no scripted episode could match the raw emotion of what just unfolded between these four lives caught between fame and friendship. So what do you think? Did Kirk cross the line, or did Mendeecees let pride destroy their bond? Was Yandy justified in defending her husband, or did Rasheeda have every right to protect her peace? This story doesn't end here, not in the clubs, not on Instagram, not even in the headlines, because people like them don't fade quietly. They fight, they rebuild, they fall again, and rise again. Maybe that's what makes them human, and that's what keeps us watching. So if you've been following this drama from the start, you know one thing for sure: Atlanta never sleeps, its lights never dim, its secrets never stay buried for long, and this feud between Kirk and Mendeecees is proof that behind every smiling photo lies a story waiting to explode. And when it does, the world listens. So don't go anywhere, because you know how this city moves. Today's silence could be tomorrow's explosion. Keep your eyes open, your notifications on, and your tea ready, because the next twist might already be brewing somewhere in the heart of Atlanta. If you're still watching right now, it means you felt every bit of this roller coaster. Maybe you laughed, maybe you gasped, maybe you took sides, but now I want to hear from you. Whose side are you? On Team Kirk and Rasheeda, or Team Mendeecees and Yandy? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Tell me what you think really went wrong and who you believe was playing dirty, because trust me, your opinions might be louder than you think. And if you don't want to miss what comes next, because this story is far from over, make sure you hit that like button, show some love by subscribing right now, and turn on the bell icon so you're the first to catch the next chapter when it breaks. Share this video with your friends, your group chats, your Twitter threads. Let's get Atlanta talking again, because the drama isn't dying down, it's only getting started. And remember, in this city, loyalty is tested every day, but only a few survive the chaos. You don't want to miss what's coming next. Stay tuned, stay alert, and as always, thank you for watching. Stay real, stay curious, and stay ready for more Atlanta drama, where friendships fall apart and truth burns brighter than the spotlight.